In November of 1984, ordinary streets in Punjab became deadly zones. Plumes of smoke choked the air as neighborhoods were torn apart by sectarian violence. Caught in the center of this chaos was a 22-year-old Sikh woman named Kamaljit Kaur. Fleeing from an advancing mob, her only focus was making it through the next handful of seconds alive. But as she navigated the maze of back alleys, the terrifying reality set in. For a Sikh caught in this specific eruption of violence, there were no safe havens. The city had become a trap. That is, until a hand suddenly clamped over her mouth. Imran, a local Muslim garage mechanic, pulled her out of the open street and into the shadows of his workshop. Moving quickly, Imran forced the young woman into a concealed, windowless room deep inside his garage, locking the heavy door behind her to muffle any sound. Moments later, the rioters arrived, pounding on his entrance, demanding if he was harboring anyone. Looking them directly in the eyes, Imran assured them that everyone inside was part of his own community. He lied, risking his own life to shield a stranger. Imran's refusal to surrender Kamaljit was a direct act of defiance. He rejected the religious hatred tearing the city to the ground, choosing a shared human bond over tribalism. For 3 days, Kamaljit remained hidden in the dark. She waited in complete silence until the violence outside finally subsided, clearing a path for her to return to her family. Before leaving the safety of the garage, she found a simple piece of thread. Acting on deep gratitude, she tied it around Imran's wrist, mirroring the sacred Rocky tradition to seal a pact. With that thread, she made a specific promise. Before her life ended, she would repay this debt of life directly to the Islamic faith. By the year 2002, Kamaljit was married and living a quiet, stable life in Amritsar. Yet, after 15 years of marriage, she and her husband remained childless. Despite the personal grief and intense social pressure, Kamaljit held on to a belief that her empty home was waiting for a specific reason. Hundreds of miles away, in a remote village in Uttar Pradesh, a completely different kind of crisis was unfolding. A local Muslim laborer found himself facing economic ruin. Buried by debt, he was on the verge of losing his ability to care for his 3-month-old daughter. When word of the family's desperation reached Kamaljit through a social worker, she traveled to the village, embraced the infant girl, and chose to bring her home. This timeline charts 2 rescues. Left, a Muslim mechanic provides sanctuary in 1984. Right, a Sikh woman homes a Muslim infant in 2002. By welcoming this child, Kamaljit shifted from a survivor of hatred to the architect of an interfaith home. The resistance from her own community was immediate. Relatives and neighbors pressured Kamaljit to formally convert the baby, whom she named Fatima, to Sikhism so she would blend into their society. Kamaljit firmly refused. She reminded her critics of the vow she swore to the man who saved her. Fatima was born into Islam, and Kamaljit insisted she would be raised in it. The physical layout of their home soon reflected this commitment. Right next to the room honoring the Sikh holy texts, Kamaljit established a dedicated space for Islamic prayer. Fulfilling the vow required daily dedication. Kamaljit hired tutors to teach Fatima Urdu, ensured she had the proper garments for prayer, and personally escorted her to the local mosque every Friday. Honoring a promise made decades earlier meant Kamaljit had to stand against the orthodox expectations of her own people for 20 years. In the year 2024, the cycle reached completion. Fatima was now 22 years old, the precise age Kamaljit was when Imran saved her life. To mark the milestone, Kamaljit arranged an elaborate wedding for her daughter. She organized a traditional Islamic ceremony, ensuring Fatima married into a Muslim family according to her own faith's customs. The legal and spiritual weight of the evening centered on the nikah. Surrounded by community leaders, Fatima lowered her pen to sign the marriage contract. When asked for her consent, Fatima spoke the words Kabul Hai, and her Sikh mother formally transferred her care to her new husband. With the signing of those documents, the ledger was balanced. Fatima's signature served as the receipt for a debt of life incurred 40 years prior. Inside that wedding hall, the usual borders dissolved. Sikh and Muslim guests stood together, moved by the unity forged in the room. While rigid dogma and historical grievances often define the interactions between communities, reciprocal acts of kindness offer a different path forward. The legacy of Kamaljit Kaur suggests that faith is expressed through the protection and honoring of others. 40 years after the riots, her kept promise stands as a testament to that human connection.